Oscar, it must be nice to finally have a 7-day break instead of a 3 or 4 day break.
Yeah, it was quite an exciting period, those 14 days with all those 4 games. But it's good to get sort of back into that routine of 7-day break and being able to get our recovery done and then start preparing for our opposition through the week like we normally would.
What did you find was the hardest thing about it?
Well, I think as a collective, the group sort of enjoyed it because the beauty of the smaller breaks was you sort of had to get on to the next game quite relatively quickly. And I think most of the boys sort of just enjoying going out for a kick and a catch, and then the ability to move on and start prepping for the next week's quite exciting.
Mate, you got the big challenge this week against Goldstein. Obviously, he's been the form ruckman in the competition this season, and you've done some good jobs on some of the other big name ruckmen going around, and McInerney, and you had Gorn the other day. So what did you learn from those experiences and that you can use this weekend?
Yeah, Goldie's been in incredible form, leading the competition in clearance numbers. His ruck work's been elite for so many years now, and I suppose the lead up of having to play great players such as Gorn and Nick Natanui and all the other rucks that we're sort of competing against is you sort of continually learning and sort of trying to apply the trade that they develop in their ruck craft, and hopefully some of those tips and techniques can hold me in good stead against Goldstein this week.
Have you enjoyed this period of the last couple of weeks where you've been the number one ruckman? You've had a lot more responsibility in that particular part of the game. Obviously, you've been up forward and kicked goals as well, but in the key crucial moments, it seems like you've been the guy going into those contests.
Yeah, I love a challenge. It's been a great challenge for me personally to have that responsibility just to compete hard. We've got an unbelievable midfield led by Lockie and Jared Lyons, so all I've got to do is just try and compete hard, try and bring the ball to the floor for them, so try and just take the challenge on board, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Oscar, how have you found the extra workload? You've sort of been the backup ruck general behind Steph, but now you've had to take the primary role. How have you found it, particularly with all those games back to back?
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Still that ruck forward role, I think it was a great lead up into this sort of role, because the forwards play such a vital role in their running ability and covering the ground. So I still felt fit enough, and those roles hold you in good stead to be able to compete well in the ruck. So I think that was sort of a good build into that. And then with the smaller breaks, it's just the adrenaline gets you through. It's so exciting being able to play footy every 4 days that you're just buzzing, and you wake up the next day and it's 2 days before a game, and it's so exciting.
Just going back to Goldie, what is it about his game that makes him such a challenge? And is there an area where you think maybe you can take him out of his comfort zone a little bit? Like maybe if you're in a one-on-one matchup with him, do you think you can take him into his back line and maybe kick a goal or take him in a position that he probably doesn't want to be?
Yeah, Goldstein's ruck work is first class. His connection with the midfielders is elite, and then the way he follows up post those contests and then covers the ground like a midfielder. So it's going to be a huge challenge. And I'm going to have to work really closely with Ben Hudson, our ruck coach, and I'm sure he's pulling apart his game right now to see where we can do and where I've got to make sure I'm really switched on in my game to be able to compete well with him.
You touched on it a bit earlier, Oscar, but your midfield, can you tell us about the connection you've built with them? I mean, you've obviously rucked to them for quite a while, but getting to do it full time, tell us how they've helped your game and how you think you might have helped theirs in the past.
Yeah, it is genuinely such a thrill and so exciting walking into a centre bounce and seeing Zorks, Lockie Neal, Jared Lyons, Link McCarthy, Cam Ellis-Elman, all the boys, Barry McCluggage. It's such a thrill, and the way they see the game and pull apart the game and understand what's happening. I think it's like having on-field coaches, and I've loved how they sort of explore all the possibilities and try and encourage me to sort of go after the ball and get up after it. And the way they see the games, I think, is really helping me along the way, because their wisdom and understanding is just first class, and I think I'm extremely lucky to sort of walk to a centre bounce and see those guys around me.
We saw on the weekend Zorko, Lyons, your key, your starting three midfielders got a lot of the clearances and got a lot of the did a lot of the damage. Does the team need to maybe work a bit harder to spread that load a bit so that there are other guys coming in and helping them out a bit more?
I think as a midfield group and as a team, one of our best assets is the group's ability to share the load. Sort of with the names I rattled off before, with Lockie and Jarrah, they do an exceptional job. But when you've got Zorks, Berry, McCluggage, Cam Ellis-Yeoman, Link pinch hitting through there, that's quite a range of numbers that can really come through there and be a really great asset for our team. So I think, it's a great asset for us and hold us in good stead for each week.
Oscar,
Doggy just rescued. Right?
Yeah.
Doggy just rescued. Tell us that story.
Yeah, it's getting around a bit, isn't it? Lucky enough, through my partner's work, an opportunity came up to rescue this big dog, sitting at 47 kilos. We took him to the vet the other day. Big Simba, he's got 3 legs, so he gets around on the 3 hoppers, but he does a fantastic job, and it's been really good for me footy actually. I'm enjoying having sort of that little escape from footy to see the big fella hopping around and take him on a walk before a game and that, so it's been grouse.
He's only got 3 legs.
Yeah, he's missing his front right hoof, in a prior accident. So, but he gets around like a normal dog, chases him around at the park. So he's loving life.
Oscar, good news about Charlie Cameron's knee. When he first did it the other night, did you feel the worst?
Yeah, well, I think the crowd noise when it happened as well was just as horrible. That sort of was, for 11,000 crowd, the noise was horrendous. Like just the echoes going through the ground. But straight after the game, he was in really good spirits and playing that Charlie role of energising us and carrying on in the change room, which is what we love Charlie for doing. So, which is looking pretty good now. So excited to hopefully have him charging around and creating the energy in our group, which he does so well.
And Big Eric, 5 goals. I guess you've been kicking a lot of goals, just 1 goal, per game. But sort of how much do you think that's going to improve his sort of, confidence?
Yeah, Eric's been quite phenomenal for the last few weeks, really since we've come back. His contested work and marking and patterns have been first class, bringing other people into the game. And it's good that Footy Karma sort of rewarded him for all that work that he's put in with the 5 goals. But we know internally that all the work that he's been doing hasn't gone unrecognised, and he's been absolutely super for our group, and hopefully that continues, that he keeps getting rewarded for all the hard work that he's been putting in.